Peace, everybody. I'd like to welcome y'all to the Compound Gallery's first digital show. Our show is called The Art of Protest. We felt that it was a great time to, magnify what's going on out in the world today with showing the works from photographers in a gallery in the gallery show. We actually grabbed 8 photographers that are from America, from anywhere from New York to LA to some photography was done in New Jersey. And we're going to be able to take you inside. We'll be interviewing all 8 of the photographers. We have some special guests coming in, so it's going to be a good evening of seeing photography, learning, and putting a magnifying glass on what's going on out in the world right now. One of the first surprises that we have up is actually a music artist who actually put a protest inside of his music video, and we want to just get his take on what made him show, a music video, and a lot of questions was asked in the record. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, um, a guest that I know for a long time, the legendary artist Jadakiss. Peace, peace, peace. Can you hear me, Kiss?
Can't hear it, man.
It's 1 second, everybody. We got it. We have him in, but he can't. We're trying to get the volume on actually on Jada right now. Kiss, see if you could hit the unmute actually on your device. And what we're showing on the screen, everybody, is the Y video. Jada, classic, legendary song. We had a lot of requests about, just hip hop and how music is another video with people was asking about was the Fight the Power record with Chuck D. There was another video that had a protest in it. Um,
Yeah, cause I couldn't hear Free at all. Wait, you ready for me to just explain the video and the
yeah,
protests and all that?
yeah. If you Kiss, if you can actually
Let
tell
me
us,
know when you're ready.
Kiss, if you could explain what was the concept, explain the Y video.
Oh well, the concept of the video, as you know, why is just a bunch of questions that I had that I thought would be common or similar questions that a lot of people from different parts of the world will want to know the answers to the same questions. So once the song was completed, we wanted the video to capture just that. And with when you have questions, that brings protests because a lot of people have the same question in common, so they want the answers to that, and sometimes that leads to a protest. So we thought doing the protest in the Y video with the picket signs would be, a powerful scene for the video. And as you see, it turned out to be Grammy nominated, probably one of my biggest songs to date. And people always ask for a part two, but I don't think all of the questions from part one was answered yet. So that's why I don't ever touch on that topic.
Okay, so next question we got, Kiss, is how important do you think
I can't
photography?
hear you, Free.
Okay, how important do you think photography is to protesting?
Photography. I think photography is very important for a protest because it captures moments and feelings, and it captures things that you won't be able to feel or experience unless you on site at the protest. So good photography would make you feel like you was there if you wasn't able to attend the protest, and it tends to get deep and be very strong just from some of the visuals. You know what I mean? You can really feel the pain and put yourself in a moment of some of the visuals from the protest.
So next question we got is how important do you think it was to do like a gallery show about showing all the art from a protest?
I think it was very important to do a gallery show, to show the art of protest and photography with it, and who else better to do it than Set Free? His mind is always working. He's been stuck in Tulum, Mexico for the whole pandemic and still able to create and come up with marketing schemes and do a virtual art show. So that just shows you, how strong and powerful and where his mind is at. But I think it's definitely important with the technology, with the way the world is going, with how huge art is in itself. To be able to show this, do a virtual joint with the art and the photography, I think is amazing.
Well, thank you, Jada, for the words, for breaking down why. You have any last words? Yeah. Well, thank well, thank y'all everybody for checking that part of the show out with Jada Kids. Shouts out to the whole D Block family and So Raspy. We wanted to just start the show off and showing how art has always been a part of protest and how art has leaked into the music industry. So now we're gonna go into the VIP area and let y'all see a part of the compound gallery in the physical form how it used to look. So this is our actually our green room, our VIP area. All the photographers are hanging out in here right now. We have compound merch that's available. If you click any of the T-shirts, you can be able to go to the compound store. Um, the shirt that we actually was promoting all week, which is the Cobra Commander, and a couple other pieces over there if you would like to check out any of the compound merch. We partnered with Jägermeister and their Save the Night initiative, where we're working with artists in the professional community to give them opportunities to do work in these times of social justice and also during with COVID, because a lot of restaurants and bars and closed down. So Jägermeister and the Save the Night initiative is finding opportunities for talents. And we'd like to just shout out Dot Dot Dash also for building this room that you see. All the 3D, the graphics and everything was built, and they partner on this event. And proceeds tonight from photography are going to go to the Black Artists Fund. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to enter the gallery. We're going to walk back out, and we're going to go in the front door and get ready to bring up our first photographer. Welcome to the Compound Digital Gallery, everybody. Our first photographer is from Brooklyn, New York. It's a good friend of mine. Got a chance to meet him not too long ago, and I felt that his work was definitely needed to be a part of the show. Welcome, Steve, to the show, also known as Steve Sweatpants on IG. How's it going, Steve?
Yo, appreciate you for having me, big bro. It's really dope to be a part of this. Never been a part of it's like a full virtual gallery, so this is really dope. So I know you're a busy man. I appreciate you.
No, totally, man. You were definitely one of the people I thought of when I was putting the show together. Your works has been speaking through the years. The community of photography, hip hop, and culture. Your reputation precedes you, and a lot of people just love your work. And it was very, I wanted to make sure that you was a part of the show. So let's look at some of your images. They're so powerful. I love the actually. Let's look at the one on the top with the unity picture with all the. It's a bunch of kids, it look like youth all together. Um,
Yeah.
when you shot that, what did you see when you was shooting that photo?
Dude, that day was crazy because that was the day I was on my first assignment with the New Yorker. So I was, I had a bunch of different kind of emotions when I was going into it because this is a big, really big platform for for Black folks like myself and everybody to have that chance to be out there representing the New Yorker because it's one of the illest magazines in our and just in our industry. So when I got there, I wanted to make sure that I really stood out, my photo stood out from the rest of the people that ever shot something like that before. So when I was on the assignment, it was just so crazy that day because I was right in front of Trump Tower in Columbus Circle,
Mhm.
and there was just so much energy going on. I remember a lot of the warriors in the garden. Shout outs to them. They was holding down the protests and leading a lot of the activism going on that day. And I just seen somebody, with just so much shit going on that I just seen a bunch of kids who just took a little break in the midst of the chaos. You know what I mean? And I just thought that really kind of stood out to me that they were still holding it down, but like in the new age kind of way that they were chilling on top of a newsstand in the middle of thousands of people. So I thought that was kind of really powerful that there was a stagnant kind of thing going on in the midst of, midst of a revolution, but they were still all there and present. So it just really stood out to me, and I wanted to make sure that I caught it before anybody else could catch it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Let's pull back out to the wall. Um, Now, let's just go into the feeling, man. What that day you woke up? What was the mindset of going out there to shoot the protest? Where was you at before mentally? What made you think like, what, I gotta capture this? We all getting bombarded with the news so much on the Instagram feed, but what made you feel like going out to shoot?
For me, it was I felt like it was my obligation to be out there. My mom is from Brownsville, my pops is from Crown Heights, and anybody knows anything about Brownsville from the 60s and 70s. The slogan was Brownsville never ran, never will. So I really, take that moniker and that slogan as well too when it comes to my work and especially when it comes to being Black in this industry. I never thought that this day would come where the civil rights movement would happen right in front of me. But when it all started to unfold, it was a lot to take in at first. So I really had to decide how to download these emotions first and figure out a proper way to project those kind of things so it was constructive and progressive and I could still communicate my pain. I could communicate my parents' anger, and at the same time, I still could show something that was powerful and unifying at the same time. That's everything that's happening with the civil rights movement because this happened in the 70s, and not like that we didn't have protests a couple of years ago as well too, but this was definitely something different. And I wanted to make sure that I have not only represented myself, but I represented my family and represented my people.
Totally, totally. So let me ask you another question. We've been seeing these images. For me in the early '70s, you're probably maybe like just seeing pictures from going to school and everything. How important do you feel that seeing photography versus because some of the books is as we say is his story. How important do you feel like photography tells the real facts of what's going on when it comes to racism and social injustice?
I mean, I think photography is a really crucial, narrative and history and a narrative and storytelling because if it wasn't for the photo of Emmett Till and his casket being open, a lot of these conversations wouldn't even be progressing till today. So I always kind of even think back to those times of the importance of being there and having that kind of perspective, and especially as being a Black photographer and born and raised from New York, we have a unique perspective that not a lot of photographers have. So we're looking for things that other photographers that just quite frankly are not looking for. So I think it's really important for not only to try to come at it with a very strong narrative and point of view, but I think it's important to really understand what we're projecting in the long run because this is history. Everything that we're doing, everything that we're putting online is set in stone. So I want to make sure that I have the right kind of cadence, that my work has the substance to make sure that I'm telling the truth and I'm not just trying to chase a fad or a trend or something that's kind of crazy.
Okay, well, Steve, thank you, man, for the time. My last question for you is: out of your body of work that we see on the wall, what was your favorite? And if you could take us through that moment that you caught that picture, which one would it be?
Man, I'm gonna cheat. I have two. Damn, actually, I have three.
Well, yeah, actually, let's talk about two.
All right, cool. And it's a toss up too because the photo of the cop car getting that's actually milk getting sprayed on it. That photo, and there's a dude on top of that car as well too. That's one of the craziest moments that I've ever seen actually happen in my life. But I feel like the photo of the homie on top of the car, in the middle of the crowd of people, that's one of my favorite photos I've ever taken. Mainly because just the energy that night. That was the first night of curfew. Everybody was, there was just a bunch of unsureness of what's going to happen at night. Like, are they going to try to like beat everybody up because the police like to have their way sometimes. But that night, the curfew, we passed the curfew and then everything, and then this dude was bumping pop smoke out of his car, and then he just stood on top of his whip and put his fist up, and that felt like power, And I wanted to make sure that I could capture that and really communicate that moment. The second one would be the moment of that's Paperboy the Prince going across the Williamsburg Bridge, because we actually walked across the bridge. He had his little hipster bus. He's been running for Congress at the same time, and I never thought in a million years I would walk across the Williamsburg, with traffic and everything. And we all did that together, and being able to capture that moment and seeing something like that is that's like one of the stuff I could tell my grandkids and they won't believe me, but I could actually show them a photo so I could prove it. So those moments is really important to me, and especially having a pops who's been really sick. Like, I could show him this kind of stuff, and he could still feel the moment.
Beautiful. Well, Steve, so everybody that's watching, the photo of everybody that's on the bridge together is for sale. Steve, thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for being a part of the show. Thank you for being on the front lines and continue to keep doing great work out there, man. Any last words from you to people that's watching your images? Anything that you would like to say?
Just make sure that you be safe out there. Don't do anything too crazy. Make sure that you have a calm and cool, steady head. If you want to buy some coffee, we're selling some Save Coffee right now. Street Dreams Mag, we have our first official coffee. And shout outs to Best Light all day. And Mom, I love you. All right, peace.
Thank you, Steve.
I appreciate you.
Definitely, peace. So that was Steve, like I said, AKA from the Instagram, Steve Sweatpants. Great guy, man. He's been doing. Definitely check out his Instagram. To see some more of his work. We're gonna get over to the second photographer. You'll probably seen a lot of his images. We're lining the wall up right now. Um, he goes by the name of Saul Lopez. He's out of the West Coast, which is out of California. Welcome to the show, Art of Protest, Saul Lopez. Saul's coming in 1 second. I'm good. I'm good. I can't see you in my box right now, but I can't complain, man. This is very exciting. This is it's new. Everybody that's joining us. If y'all are seeing any technical difficulties, this is just like the world of COVID. These things that haven't been done before, and we're just learning how to work through them. But there's Saul. Thank you. We got Saul in. You know,
Good.
I didn't want to start talking about any of your work until we could see you and let the fans see you. Before we start off, how are you doing in these times, man? With just the COVID world and then the social justice world. Before we get into your work, how are you doing?
Yeah. So, I mean, COVID world, kind of just stuck at home, which has been, in a way, a nice change of pace for me, just because last year I spent like 7 months on the road just traveling, shooting videos, taking photos, and I was rarely home in Los Angeles. So it's been good to be at home and just with close immediate family and just spending time with them. Obviously, given the circumstances, not much to do outside of that. But as a creative, I know a lot of us, lost work and things of that nature. But as things have slowly started to pick up, that's been really nice. But yeah, and then as far as the social justice world, I mean, I've just been very fortunate to have the opportunity to use my art and my craft to help, capture some of these images. I know people have said it's especially for the people that are at home who, might be can't go out for health reasons or whatever it is. Like, it's just been a blessing to be able to be able-bodied and healthy enough and practice safety precautions to capture some of these images and share them just with people at home. So it's been, a balancing act, but it's been good. We're getting through it.
Totally, totally. No, thanks for those words. So let's start, man. With your images has been seen already. Maybe one of the most images out there is let's just dive right into it of the Kendrick Lamar. Let's talk about where when you left your house. Did you know where you were going to shoot? What was I mean? Because you captured a lot of great people, and it seemed like this was all the same day. Um, was where was this taken at? Where did was people screaming at all these celebrities and they was running towards them, or how did that all that come about?
Yeah, so four of my six photos are from the Compton peace protest. So they're from the same day. And that was organized by an organization called the Compton Cowboys, who are, they're just a great equestrian inner city organization who just do a lot for the community. And DeMar DeRozan was also one of the organizers, as well as Kendrick Lamar. And I was actually there shooting for DeMar DeRozan. I'm mainly a videographer, but also a photographer. So I was there hired to shoot a video for DeMar DeRozan. I'm friends with a photographer. So that was just an amazing opportunity on its own. With Kendrick that morning, I knew I was going to Compton. I know how important of a time, it is right now, just for the Black community and people of color in general as well. So I had an inkling that he might be in Compton. Just always had my head on a swivel, just as a creative, as a videographer, I'm always just trying to be aware of my surroundings. And yeah, this was towards the end of the protest. Actually, Demar was leaving, so he was interacting with some fans. So I was kind of just waiting for him to finish up, and I heard someone yell Kendrick, and I turned around. I actually noticed his bodyguard first because I did a shoot with Schoolboy Q last year, and they had the same bodyguard, so I recognized him first. And then right next to him was Kendrick, and I mean, you see him. He had a hoodie on, he had a mask on. People weren't storming him. He was very low key, and all I did was say hi. I was just like, "Hey, Kendrick," and I guess he saw my camera, and I think he thought I wanted to take a photo of him, and he stopped and posed for me. And I was a little caught off guard because I was like, "What is this man doing?" And then I like snapped back into it, and I was like, "Oh, he wants me to take his photo." But yeah, it was just a crazy moment. When I took the photo, I honestly didn't really think it was that great. But once I got into the editing room, brought up the colors, and I understood just the moment in general. And it's his hometown. He's a great figure, and he doesn't go out a lot. So I understand why people resonated with it. And yeah, I mean, they went crazy on social media.
Okay, so let's pull back out and let's check out some more of the images. Um, what was your feeling that day of just going out? Just in a few words, like what was the emotions like? Of you being a person of color, supporting the African American community. What was the feelings like for you, as just one as a photographer, and then also just as a human being?
Yeah, I mean, as a human being, obviously, just empathy, pain, joy, passion in a way. Like going out there, you see all these emotions on the people. There's, people are crying, but people are also embracing each other and being joyous just to be together as a community, fighting for a common goal, fighting for social justice. And it was just a beautiful thing to see, extremely empowering in general, and just I try to do my best to try to capture those emotions and share them for the people back home for them to feel the same way.
All right, beautiful, beautiful. Well, Sal, timing is going great. Last question for you is, what's your favorite image out of all the images that you have up there?
Yeah, I mean, it has to be the Kendrick photo. Obviously, I think it did an amazing job of just being able to spread the message. People all around the world were messaging me, from South Africa, from South America, from all parts of Europe, and just reaching out and thanking me for sharing those images, just because it allowed them to connect to what was happening here in America, and just see what was happening. So has to be the Kendrick photo, but all of them, hold a special place for me, because they were just all powerful moments on their own.
Totally, totally. And everybody who's actually watching and looking, the Kendrick photo is for sale tonight. This is, something that is iconic that, we would love for y'all to have in your collection. Saul, thank you for being able to, be a part of the show. And, let's stay in touch and keep being on the front lines. And thank you. Be safe out there with COVID and also while you're shooting.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Take it easy.
So we got a special guest next coming up. And in this time when we needed something, we needed a voice, we needed a spark, we needed just a beacon of light, a sound of hope. And so we got a chance to bring somebody very special to the show. You know, it was we pulled it off in, as they say, the 13th hour. And I don't even want to introduce who it is. I just want to go off the screen and let y'all hear this gift from God. Without further ado,
I'm a young black man doing all that I can to stay. Oh, when I look around and I see what's being done to my kind.
he's still a young black man. Out here. He's gonna come back in. We had a special surprise. Was all the way came in at last minute and was. We were gonna talk about how he came at a time when we needed to hear something that powerful and something that special. I think his signal is going in and out, but hopefully we can get Keedron back in here to do a couple questions. Um, and you know what we'll do is we wanted them to do the whole song. We had a couple questions for him, but what we'll do now is we'll go on to the next photographer, and we're definitely going to try to bring Keedron Brack in here to finish that. So up next we have D Delgado, which is actually from the Bronx. Let's go over to wall number 4, and we'll go into his. One thing to update everybody with also the beacons of light that you see walking around the room, that is all the viewers. And we made them the beacons of light for people to shine their light on the world at this time. Some famous song Umi says from my brother Mos Def that everybody, especially in this time, should shine your light on the world. So D, how's it going, man?
What's
Good to
going on, my brother? How you doing?
I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed, man. Thank you for being a part of the show. Thank you for sending your works over. And we definitely want to talk about some of your pieces up on the wall, man. The first one, which is my favorite, it reminds me of the Tiana Taylor song, A Rose in the Concrete. Can you explain, was this rose just there? How did this come about?
It was the first day of the curfews. Things were going crazy. Things were going bananas all around me. And I looked down, and there was just a rose right in the middle of the street, right around, you know, everybody walking by. If you look in the background, you can see those people marching. And I just had to take a moment and just reflect and take a photo of that rose amongst the chaos.
It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite pieces. To everybody, all the viewers right now, the Rose print is available tonight. But I just think it's so. It just showed a symbolism of peace that we need, you know, in the midst of all the chaos. Okay, let's pull back out to all the photos. What is one of your favorite photos that you have up here on the wall? Actually,
I believe is the street medic is definitely one of my favorites. It's the one directly next to the rose.
okay. And can you tell us what was going through your, you know, when you're in the mind of taking these pictures, what was your thoughts taking the shot? Because it's also catching the shot, but then it's a thought process that's in your mind at the same time.
Well, when and being out there in the field and shooting, you basically develop a tunnel vision. You're just seeing things unfold, and being a photojournalist, you're like a moth drawn to the flame. So while everybody's running away, you're running towards it. At this moment, this woman was she had just got maced by the police. This is a medic. He's yelling out, to get milk over to him so he could care for her. And it was just that moment unfolding. And like I said, photojournalists, we're like moth to a flame. Everybody's running away from danger. We're running towards it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Let's pull back out to all the photos again. And let's go over to the left side wall. And let's talk about the towers. I didn't know if those were like surveillance camera towers or were they like 5G tower, police cameras. What was the thought process in taking this picture?
I looked up, I saw the helicopter, then I saw I saw the police surveillance cameras, the speed camera, and it was just one of those moments where it's like 1984. We're constantly being surveyed and so forth. Big Brother's watching, and it was just one of those moments where it could just be illustrated.
No, it's a powerful image. I think it's definitely it has relevance. We always see these cameras, no matter if the police are not around, they're always there with these cameras.
Yeah.
So my last question, D, is we can pull back out to the full wall. When you're out there, twofold, just as a minority man, what are some of the feelings that you're also feeling? Just being out there as a minority, being a photographer, but also just what's going on in the world. How do you balance that with like the emotion and also the professionalism?
It's being honest is a lot of biting your tongue, and just being a professional, you have to be completely impartial. And I did want to touch briefly that we've been seeing a lot of photojournalists, a lot of photographers in general, just being attacked by not only by the police but also by protesters. And I just want to let them know we're not the enemy, and just remember that if we're not there documenting, then these moments, your freedom of speech will be infringed upon. So we're not the enemy, and definitely just stay safe and just we're not out there to hurt you. We're out here to document. There was that moment and the spoken word that was in the promo video. If you listen to that, it really spoke to me because it's true. We're without us taking photos, it basically never happened.
Totally. So I think, and that was the whole premise of the show, man. I've always heard, people, it's his story. His story is written, but pictures tell the true story. D, thank you, man, for your time. Thank you for the opportunity, man.
Thank you.
Everybody, his rose print is available. Just click on the image and you can purchase it if you like. Thank you, D. So up next, everybody, we're gonna bring my good little buddy back, Keydren. We're gonna talk to him first this time and ask a couple questions about how he was feeling, what made him sing this song. So let's get ready to bring Keydren back in. I think he's about to come in right now. Can you see us? Can you see us, Keydren?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Welcome, Keydren. Thank you, man, for such short notice, man, to be able to be a part of this show, be a part of the Art of Protest. What was going through your mind, Keydren? Just during, as you and your family, I know you're very close with your family, seeing the news, being a young black man, first line of your song. What was just going through your mind during all this before you even did the record?
Well, my mom wrote the song and then she gave the lyrics to me. And after that, I went upstairs and I prayed over the lyrics and I went back downstairs and I recorded the song and just a lot of, just sadness and just going through my mind and just thinking about how I am a young black man in America. So it's just really sad and heartbreaking what that was in my mind.
Wow. So, okay, let me ask you another question. Well, we're all in the social media life, and we sometimes, we're just posting things from, and don't even think about the outcome or what was you thinking when you did it and you posted it? You was like, of course, we know you were doing it from your heart, but did you ever expect like, wow, this is gonna go viral like it did?
No, sir. I never knew that it was gonna go viral. I never knew that, but it was really surprising. But when I first saw like the rates and the views, that was just like amazing. I was just so excited, and I'm just really thankful and grateful for the opportunity. So I never knew that it was gonna go like that. I never knew that.
Totally, totally. So now you've grown up younger, like I was saying before, to another photographer. I grew up and I seen images of Martin Luther King and a lot of images. Have you been seeing a lot of protest images ever since you were young?
I've been like seeing a lot of protest images. Like I've been seeing like for like some of like the lyric video. I saw like a lot of protest pictures. Been just researching about like African American history and just reading about it. So I've seen a lot of pictures of it. Just on in the internet.
And let me ask you this. So from what you were researching, I just think it's great to have somebody this young a part of the show. From what you was researching from the past, and then what you see today in 2020, does it seem like the same thing is still happening from your perspective? Like nothing, is changing from the side of the system?
I I think wait, can you repeat the question just one more time a little bit?
Totally, totally. From like what you were studying, how you were saying you were studying like African American history from the past, and seeing those images from the past, but now seeing images from today. Do you feel like the images are almost the same from what you were studying in the past and what's in the present?
I still think that was and I still believe that like racism is still going on, and I mean I don't know when it's going to end, but I do still believe that racism is still going on, and just a lot of hate and violence towards black people. So in the past, um, we all thought that it was okay, freedom, but now it's all the way just coming all the way back now in the present. So I guess um, I wouldn't say like nothing changed, but I'll say like I guess we didn't progress in freedom, but yeah, kind of like that.
Nah, it's great words, man. It's great words. Well, if you can, man, we would love for you to see if you could try to give us your song one more time, and then we got couple more photographers waiting. But thank you so much, man. Everybody want to hear your beautiful voice that's watching, and let's give it another shot if you don't mind.
I'm a young black man doing all that I can to stay in. Oh, when I look around and I see what's being done to my kind every day, I'm being hunted as prey. My people don't want no trouble. We've had enough struggle. I just wanna live. God protect me. I just wanna live. I just wanna live.
God bless you, man. You and your family. and we'll be praying for you. Stay safe, and thank you for joining us, man. We'll be in touch.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Take care.
You too.
Um, Up next, y'all, we have a good friend of mine. That was a great moment, man. I'm just so happy that we got a chance to get him in here. Up next, we're gonna go to wall number 3, actually. So right now is a personal friend of mine. A lot of people might know him from the music industry. Secondary is photography. After the musical, um, career, Lenny S is actually in the building right now.
What's up, Free?
Peace,
What's
Lenny.
up?
Thank you for joining us.
Of course, of course. What's
I'm
up,
blessed,
everybody?
man. What
You hear
do you
me?
think
You hear me good,
about
right?
Keedron? Okay, there you good. What do you think about Keedron doing that song for us, man, in the time of
Amazing, man,
protest?
and a pleasant surprise because I was unaware. So that's super dope, man. It caught my attention when it first went viral, and I even actually got some submissions of some producers who took his vocals and actually made a track and a hook to it
Wow,
to submit for like Khaled and other people. So I thought that was really dope. But nah, man, it was a pleasure hearing from him and hearing him sing that again.
beautiful, beautiful. So let's just dive right into it, Lenny. Busy schedule, working with a lot of top artists, totally always doing work, and I think, for me, people like you and Guru, Pasta News from De La Soul, it's a lot of people, a lot of my friends in the industry, and it's kind of, secretive. Some of them are not secretive, but a lot of the game and the fans and the consumers don't know how important photography is to you. And you've been doing a lot of photography through the years of just the career in the music industry. But when I thought about this show, that's what made me reach out. And what made you, figure out like, hey, you know what, I'm gonna go shoot this protest. What was your thoughts about going to shoot the protest? I think, can Lenny hear me or did he freeze? Um, 1 second, Lenny, you still there? Think, Lenny, are you still there? Think we might have lost Lenny. He said he can't hear. Lenny's actually right, can't hear right now. Everybody, like I said, this is all our viewers that's watching. First time doing something like this show. Hopefully, everybody's being patient with us, working through it. As they say, the technical difficulties, but we're gonna come back to Lenny. And what we'll do is I'll go actually to his brother, I think, and we'll come back to Lenny if he comes right back in. But we could switch over to Young Guru next, and then we'll come back to Lenny. Um, it's funny, like I was just saying before Lenny's signal went out, that Guru is another person, a good friend of mine, that's in the industry that's known for a lot of things, but music first, and I think that's all how all of us came into the music industry. But Guru is also, to me, just as nice as he is on the boards. He's just as nice on the lens. Peace.
Mhm.
What up, Guru?
Peace, my brother. Peace, peace, peace. Thank you for having me.
Totally, man. Thank you for the patience. Thank you for being a part of the show, The Art of Protest. Can we zoom in on Guru's wall, actually? And let's get that straightened up. So, Guru, basically, I'll bring in the same question that I was asking Lenny with from the start. Of course, like you're out in you was in LA during this time. Even
Yeah.
even crazier being from the East. What that morning? What went through your head? It was like, I'm grabbing the camera and I just want to go out and shoot. What was the thought process of that?
I'm feeling like I'm mystical. When the protest first started, um, first of all, I'm real aware of history and the moments of history. And what I mean is, it's something your good friend Mos Def said. It's, history happens every day. So as photographers, it's our job to go out and capture that history, and especially something like this. So this was a no-brainer. But what I did want to do was figure out exactly where, because in LA, the protests were all over the place. They were moving. So it was just me getting up and figuring out where the crowd was and figuring out where to get the best shots. So just as a photographer in general, I always have my camera with me. But of course, during these protest times, it's your job to get out and document this as much as possible.
Totally, totally. One of my favorite images. Let's zoom in on the three girls. I just looked at them as three queens. For some reason, it was really powerful. It spoke to me. But what did you get when you? I always like asking a photographer. What was your thoughts when you shot this picture?
During the day, I normally don't pose people, or I normally don't stop people to ask them, can I take a photo? A lot of my photography is just on the move. It's street photography. It's me trying to not interrupt the scene. This was one that was actually posed because they were walking by with the signs, and we just said, hey, like, can you get up against this background? This wall looks incredible. And they were happy to do it. So it was seeing the different complexions, seeing them with the protests, seeing them with the signs. And then also for me, the photo is the most important thing. It's not just about the subject of what I photograph. It's about the actual art of photography, about the composition, about the way you put the photo together. So it's a famous line that says you don't take a photo, you make a photo. Mm-hmm. Meaning, your angle and how you see things. So that's what I was thinking about with this, was about how to create the balance inside of the photo.
Okay, let's pull back out to all the images, please, and let's zoom in a little. Now, taking a look at all these images, what was your favorite photo you got, and what was the message that you got from out of your favorite photo?
I think my favorite one is the young lady when she's on the back of the motorcycle, because it speaks so much to our situation and the strength of just Black women in general. That the Black woman is there, she's on the back with would soon be her boyfriend, and it's almost like she's protesting, but she's just saying ride with you. So that thing of Black woman just continuously having our back and always being there with us and always holding us down. Is one of those things that I think that we don't say enough. We are on this thing now, which I love, which is protect Black women. And it's like, it's time, because they've always had our back. So to me, that photo just shows that. It exemplifies the thing of, them both having the same shirt on. So it's like they're together. But then the woman is right there, always holding them down, got her fist up because she's in the protest as well, but she's in a position of always having her man's back. And I think that's just a very powerful image.
Okay, let's pull back out to all the images now. Thank you for that, explaining that. I think you're so right. Like, they always been holding us down, and they always had our back. So, Goo, let me ask you this: shooting the protest and being out on the front lines like that, what's the emotion? Especially you're in the industry, people know you from a lot of different things, and going out there, what is the feeling of like, not saying you're a celebrity photographer, but is it a balance that you have to look like you're in your own zone? Because protest shooting is way different than just lifestyle shooting. Like, where's your mind state out when you're shooting? Being somebody of the industry, trying to get your shot, you take photography very serious. Like, what realm are you in when you're shooting at a protest?
One of the state is to be realize what's going on at all times. I'm at all times. It is very difficult inside of a protest to shoot, because normally in lifestyle or just street photography, I could walk and move. I don't use zoom lenses. I shoot with all prime lenses. So my focusing is really my feet. Me moving to get to the shot, or creating the shot by moving. So being that there's so many people, sometimes you don't always have the ability to do that. So one, I'm very aware of what's going on physically, and then two, yeah, some people might notice who I am, some people don't. That's fine, but I'm so focused on creating these shots and creating these moments and trying to figure out the best way to shoot it, that a lot of times that sort of just leaves my mind. And if somebody says what's up to me, I just say what up and I keep it moving. And I think they kind of understand that, this isn't the time right now to talk about music. We're out here for a protest. I'm actually shooting my photography. So, it gets a little easier for me. And I think my height also helps because I'm 6'5", so I can see over the crowd and start to see certain things develop. So then I can move and get to those specific shots. But there's a bunch of shots that I wish I could have got. But it's like, when there's so many thousands and thousands of people on the street, it's harder to move your feet to get to where you got to go.
Okay. One last question, and it's connected. This is a personal question for me. Is the love between music and photography kind of the same for you? Just because I think, I look at you as a master, as a samurai, and to me, your images is just as great as the mix. But is that love almost kind of the same?
It is, but it's just the way we love art, right? So if we look at, for me, music has always been this auditory thing. My whole life, my whole training, my career, everything has to do with how I hear. So us as artists, I think we're multifaceted people. So I wanted to do something, and the whole reason I picked up a camera is because you want a new challenge. You want a visual challenge, so to challenge another part of your senses, for one. And then for me, I think having the experience in the music industry and knowing all the things that you have to go through. I make music, I love music, but then there's also a lot of just business and nonsense you have to deal with, which you gladly do because that is your love. Music is your love, so you're willing to go through the nonsense to do the thing you love. So with my photography, it was something where let me practice an art where I don't necessarily, my living isn't dependent on my art of photography. So I get to do it from a very pure place. I get to do it from a place of just, this is me creating a portfolio for myself. I'm not necessarily trying to go out and have that be my bread and butter of the way that I make money. So then I don't have to play the game. I can do it the way that I want to do it. I can shoot what I want to shoot. It's my way of saying, let's practice an art that I don't necessarily sell.
Nah, thank you, man. Thank you, Goo, for the time. Thank you for being out on the front lines,
Yes, sir.
bringing these images to the Art of Protest show. And all I can say is thank you, and I can't tell you how much we appreciate it. Thank you for the time, man. And any last words that you would like to say about the show, about the protests, and just social justice, anything to the fans?
Yeah, I just appreciate you for doing this, man. I thank the people too, everybody that's interested, but I appreciate you the most, man, for putting this together and doing this. And I think this as a virtual room is just incredible. It's great to look at and just keep doing it, bro. We thank you again.
Thanks, man. Take care, everybody. Gurus Rebels with a cause. Bike print is available, so make sure y'all check it out if y'all want to purchase it. Thanks, Goo. Take care, man. God bless, bro. We got Lenny S coming back, everybody, and Lenny S just said Guru is his idol. So it's good to be able to have the brothers together in here. We got Lenny S back and Art of Protest.
What's up, y'all? Thanks. Sorry about that, man. My Wi-Fi's, I guess, tripping a little bit. But yeah, free. My bad.
No
Happy to be here.
problem. No problem, man. So I think we're starting off with the questions of just photography and the mindset that you were in when you that day of waking up. What was the mindset to be like, you know what? I want to go shoot. I want to go catch some of the protesters.
Sorry, I have a little delay. Actually, man, just really wanting to capture the moment. You know what I mean? Like, I really was just taken back by everything that was going on. You know what I mean? And everything that's happening, and I couldn't not be a part of it. You know what I mean? I could not go out there and stand, alongside my people and just protest along with my people. And at the same time, like Guru mentioned, I'm sure some of the others, it's really about, for me, it's about capturing those moments. You know what I mean? So many times we look at history and we look in the history books, or we look in just history in general when we're doing research or just, coming across things. And we kind of feel like sometimes it always feels more important prior to us. You know what I'm saying? It always feels like those things that happen were of a large and great magnitude that we weren't a part of. And I think that I've learned in my lifetime we are also a part of a bunch of just as important moments. You know what I'm saying? Just as important or tragic moments or good moments or monumental moments. So I just wanted to play my part in trying to maybe capture a couple of shots that that our people, our culture, could have as a reference to remember in this very, very, very important time.
So let's talk about the image of which is called "I Surrender," and it's the Lenny print. If we could zoom in on that picture, the "I Surrender" one, it's where everybody's laying down. I think this is just a powerful piece. Can you walk us through this? Did that happen with you, and the moment happened around you? Did you walk up to it and explain it? Was you a part of it? Did you lay down and just walk us through
So
it?
we were in New York, Brooklyn to be exact. I believe that's Flatbush Avenue, and thousands of people walking. We walked for a few hours, and the protest leaders that were in charge were giving were leading the crowd with certain chants and with certain things that we were doing, and this was one of them. And it was basically in my own words, I call it "I Surrender" because it was basically there was a lot of cops around us. We were actually near a police station, so there was a whole line of about maybe 50 cops, 60 cops, blocking the streets of the police station, and the protest leaders were talking to them and kind of like just chanting things. And this was one of them. It was just like, we surrender. You know what I mean? We lay down, we put our hands behind our back. Pretty much like we're submitting ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Don't hurt us. Don't kill us. Don't cause us any harm. And it just, again, I was blown away by seeing what I could see in my eyesight, hundreds of people laying down on their stomach, on their chest, putting their hands behind their back. So I named it "I Surrender," and it was just a super powerful moment for me, man, to see people, just let go of everything, man, and get right on that floor, in memory and in name of everybody who's lost their life or was a victim just to police brutality in general.
Nah, it's great, great story, man. Let's pull back out to all the images again. Let's talk about the police car with the signs on it. What was your thoughts when you seen that and just
I
seeing all those signs?
I thought it was actually like, uh, you know, not that anything here is funny, but I thought it was amusing and interesting that, like, maybe a few weeks ago, I mean, obviously you couldn't even say something wrong to a cop, you know what I mean? And now, like, I mean, cop cars are getting blown up and defaced and vandalized. And I thought it was interesting. And there were actually cops on the corner, and people were still coming and spray painting and just like, pretty much like, you guys have no respect for us, and we have no respect for you, or your property, or whatever the case may be. So I thought that was interesting, and I just caught that. And I wish I could have caught a cop in the background. They were kind of like out the way, but yeah, that was the story with that.
Totally. Let's pull back out to all the images. Um, One another question I have is, being in the music industry and actually doing photography in that realm so much, but now also doing this. Has shooting at this protest inspired, like shooting the protest pictures at this time, has this inspired you to shoot more in the realms of just, more things that's happening in life and more in the realm of social justice and racism?
Yeah, man, it made me, one of the real reasons I went out, outside of wanting to support and be there, is one of the very few regrets I had in my life was missing the Million Man March. I couldn't go for a work reason and a family reason, and I regretted it when I just not being a part, not being to be able to stand there with my brothers and not being able to capture those moments. Seeing the images in the newspaper and stuff like that. Man, I just promised myself that if anything else ever went down like that, or anything near it, or anything close to it, that I'd be there. You know what I mean? So that's what really drove me to make sure. Even with COVID, like everything aside, it was just like, fuck that. Like, this is important. Like, this is my people. I need to be there, and I need to document
Nah, thank you, man. Thank you. Well, Lenny, man, this was great. Thank you for the time, man. Lenny's I Surrender print is available, everybody. Lenny, any last words, man? If you would like to say anything about the show, what's going on in the world right now, and just just some. Okay, let's. We're gonna go next. Lenny just dropped out again on the signal. Like we said, this is new. This is we have no answer for this. It's totally first time we at the compound have tried this, but we're gonna keep the show going, and we're gonna go next to our first lady of the show. Actually, we're gonna go to Gabriella and talk to her about her shooting. And actually, Gabriella's work is very exciting because it's one of the people that's in color. So let's pull out to all her images actually. And hey, Gabriella, how you doing? Thank you so much. Thank you for being patient. It's technical difficulties, a little schedule change. We've been jumping around a little bit, but thank you for just being patient.
Yeah,
So let's talk about just you as a photographer. And I think it's just so interesting about everybody. Okay, everybody just the what made them. What was going on when you seen the protest before you said I'm gonna go shoot it. What made you? I know you were seeing it on TV on the news, and what made you go from okay, it's time for me to go shoot some protesting.
so I work for the LA Times, so I am actually assigned to go photograph protests right now. So I had photographed one previously. I believe this was on a Saturday, on a Wednesday, that got violent after a protester jumped on top of a cop car and fell off and cracked his head open, and it was super bloody. And I hated taking pictures of it because I don't like documenting violence. It's not something I really look to do. So I decided to go out on my own time and just kind of focus on something different. I realized that at these protests, people are having fun if they can, um, they're being silly. So I kind of wanted to go into a protest and show that aspect of it rather than the brutality and the violence that a lot of news photographers focus on.
Wow. Okay, so that brings us to one of the most. It's a powerful image. Let's go into your image of twerking for justice, um, and let's zoom in on that. What was going? Was it a party going on? What was going on before this?
So much was going on. Looting was going on. People were yelling at media. People were just dancing in the street. And then this like sedan rolled through, and these girls were just like, "Hey, what's up?" And they just started twerking on a car. And it was kind of beautiful, just because I think in these protests right now, it's in like riot environments. I didn't realize. For me, I kind of interpreting them as kind of silly. Like people were acting really like they were just trying to take their power back and just doing the most random things, like you know I don't, like this. Like I don't really know how to explain it. Like it was just weird, and I kind of wanted to show the weirdness that was happening, other than
Mhm.
like I said, just the looting. Because like I said, my newspaper tends to focus on the looting and showing people who are looting, and I just wanted to do it in a completely different way.
Totally. Let's go back. Let's pull back to the wall. So you're one of the photographers that shot in color, and
Mhm.
I read something the other day that during the protest pictures in the '70s and the '60s, that the media houses used to put them in black and white to make them seem like they were so long ago. What made you like actually shoot a lot of these in color, and also want to put color images in the show that in the art of protest show?
Um, I mean, the technical reason is I just grab my cameras and go. Like I said, I'm a photojournalist, and I just use the things that I've got, and I shoot in color and I use digital. I do want to use more film, but I do really like color because I like the vibrancy of it. I think it gives character to the situation, and some interesting color palettes can emerge whenever you're photographing that I think I really like to play with and stuff like that. So yeah.
Now, I have a question. You're the only female that's been a part of the show, and thank you for being a part of it. How is it being a female out there shooting? It's just, it's a lot of pushing, a lot of shoving.
Yeah.
It's very physical during protests. How is it? How is that for you? Like the physical experience and just being on point, maneuvering around, getting the shots you want.
Yeah, for me, I'm more concerned about the police just because I look like the protesters and they don't see me as a news photographer or part of media. So I often get targeted by the police and looped
Wow.
into all the protest situations. So I have to be really mindful of how I'm portrayed with the protesters because, they don't like media. And then when they see it's me, I don't know, they just treat me like they do with every other news photographer. And then the police just don't care and try to figure out who I am. So I just try to have an exit plan wherever I go. I try to read the crowd as best I can and figure out where they're going, what they're doing, see where the instigators are, and keep an eye on the instigators, and just try to maintain a distance. If I'm going to get in close, know when the right moment is to go in, and then I go in, and then I get out, and then I stand on the back. So it's just kind of constantly just looking around and seeing how safe I am.
Okay. So, and I'm looking at your collection that you submitted for the show. What is your favorite piece out of these pictures, and why actually?
It's hard. I really like the twerking picture, but I think my favorite are the Black Girl Surfers because that's a
Let's
person.
zoom in on that.
Sorry.
No, I wanted to tell let's zoom in on that picture actually.
Oh yeah. So I included these just because I don't. It's really personal to me. I grew up surfing. I grew up in San Clemente, California, and I actually stopped surfing because so many microaggressions happened against me. And I recently started up again last year, and I just started, documenting Black girl surfers, just trying to kind of like go back to like 50s and 60s surf photography and kind of do it in that way. And I've been shooting it on film. And this happened in the beginning of June, where there was actually a paddle out or like a ceremony for Black Lives Matter. And I just have never seen that before. It was crazy. And it was just all types of people coming together and chanting Black Lives Matter. And there were literally like four surfers with me and my friend Danielle, Olga, and Shelby. But it was so emotional. And it was one of those times where I couldn't tell, like, what it was like being a photographer, a journalist, or like a human being. And it was really emotional.
Thank you for the story actually, and thank you for just being a part of the show. Continued success with your photography, and would you like to say any last words just to everybody that's watching, just about the protest, photography, or anything?
Um, just stay safe, keep your head on a swivel, and have an exit plan.
Thank you so much, and we'll definitely be in touch. And thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Okay, up next, we're going to go to a good friend of mine, whose name is Ishmael, and we've always been working on photography together, doing a lot of events. I'm going to pull his wall up. Let's let you see some of his photos. With some powerful images. We just like to thank everybody who's been a part of this, from Dot Dot Dash to Black Artist Fund, Jägermeister, and the Save the Night Initiative. Moab Paper is actually a part of our event also. So anybody that's actually purchasing a print from any of the photographers, Moab will be supplying the paper and a part of this whole event that we're doing. And I couldn't ask for a better team, my whole compound team, and everybody. So okay, so we're gonna switch up. Issues we having a difficulty with signal, I think, and we're gonna skip to a good friend of mine. This is the guy. Actually, I have to give the credit where the credit is due. It's a good brother. The reason my Instagram is black and white. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a good friend, Anthony. How's it going, Ant? Can't complain, man. Can't complain. Thank you for joining us, man. Thank you for being a part of this the Art of Protest show. And let's just dive into your work, man. Powerful. It's a lot of people shoot in black and white, but I think for me, you have mastered the Pantone chart of black and white photos and grays. Um, you've been shooting for a while, and why is it that you shoot? Before I even get into the protest photos and just a lot of the, what makes you pretty much only shoot in black and white?
Um, for me, it dates back to when I started training in photography in high school. So when photography was a trade in New York City, pretty sure you know. Um, Before we even, because I didn't touch digital until I I literally left the Marine Corps. So in high school, they would train us on how to shoot on all types of film between 35 millimeter, 4x5, 120. So and we went bare bones how to uh, how to shoot on film, how to develop it, how to print in the dark room. So everything that requires of being a photographer, similar to the training a lot of photographers received in the between the 70s all the way through the 90s. That black and white aesthetic stayed with me after high school, and I'm just like a big fan of it because also uh, I see how black and white works in comic books also. So for my Instagram in particular, uh, I put everything in black and white if it if it you know if it fits, which has been a lot for my work.
Okay. So let's dive into the work we see. Let's dive into can we zoom in on the fist with the chain? Um, I think for me, when I seen this image, it connected on so many levels. You know, the Black Panthers of Black Power, the famous Olympic photo, also going from slave chains to jewelry, is an upgrade and change, and then also just it symbolizes like Black Power and fight the power and hip hop.
Right,
What was your thoughts on catching this image, and then what did it mean to you? What is your definition of the image?
man. For me, because first of all, I was at City Hall because they had a route, they had a protest at City Hall with public advocate Julian Williams. So when I was on the scene, I was just looking around. Aside from getting your standard photos, I was just looking around, and my man, my man had his son with him, and I looked at his wrist, and I'm like, yo, let me get this, because for me, that image not only represents black people from all over, whether you're in the projects, whether you're in the suburbs, wherever you at, uh, that's what it meant to me. And also, like you said, like you mentioned, it represents the symbol of black people's liberation from the Olympics to you always saw this salute with the Black Panthers and any other black liberation organization, and as well as hip hop. I was like, if I don't get any other image today at this protest, I need to grab this. I just need to grab this. He's got the big fat pinky ring, and he's got the Cuban. I was like, let me shoot this, not because also what I've seen in this protest is uh, those that are in the projects, those that are tied to hip hop. You don't really see a whole lot of. You don't really see them tied. You don't really see, especially today. You don't really see that kind of imagery tied to. It's like Jamel Shabazz's work in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. Like you can tie his work in the hip hop and the black culture, and that's with this image. I wanted to bring that all together with this symbolic picture.
Okay, let's pull back out to all the images, and we'll ask the picture. I like. Go in with the guy with the mask on. Um, I haven't. This is another one of my favorites because it represents both times we're in right now with the social justice and with COVID and the dual meaning of we're hearing Americans, the people all over the world saying they can't breathe, asthmatics they can't breathe because of the COVID mask, and then the dual statement of the police of we can't breathe. Um, What was your thoughts when you seen this guy wearing this mask?
Okay, so this gentleman in the mask happens to be George Floyd's brother, Terrence,
Mm.
and uh, I was at the big memorial in Brooklyn for myself and for Rolling Stone. So when the memorial was going on, I was paying attention to him because this hurt. This 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 murder with this thing
Right.
that happened with George Floyd. It was hurting that day. A lot happened that day between the politicians. New York City politicians showed up and they was giving lip service. It was just a whole mess, and I was mainly paying attention to him, to see how he was grieving, how he was taking all of this, and when he got up on stage and spoke, he had a hard time speaking because again, this is his brother. With this was his George Floyd was his brother, and to ask him to come speak in front of thousands of people in regards to his brother being assassinated by those police officers, it's a damning thing. I know where he comes from because I've been to too many memorials between here at home and between coming back from the Marine Corps from combat and having to sit there at these memorials. I felt like, all right, I got to convey how he's feeling now. Grant, like you said, you know, um, between the mask and everything, and he was looking up at the sky as he was speaking because he's trying to find uh, the motivation and the words to speak in regards to his brother without having a whole lot of rage and breaking down on stage. So I just felt like if there's like even with the black fist, I felt like, all right, I have to grab this. I know it's an uncomfortable image, but I'm all about uncomfortable, and we bringing uncomfortable conversations to the table. That's just who I am. That's just you know um, that's just how I've always been. From a kid, from a young pup, all the way to now being a photographer and having everything figured out. Um, I just had to make this uncomfortable image.
Nah, I think it's beautiful, man, and thank you, man, for the time and explaining those two powerful images. For the years we've known each other, your work is amazing. Always been a fan. Thank you, Ant, for actually, submitting the work and then being part of the show, man. And best of luck to you. Be safe out there, and we'll definitely be in touch, man. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I know, like as soon as you came calling, I was like, yo, let me get the. When you told me about this, I was like, let me just get the images ready and let 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 me be part of you know showing the world what's really going on, as far as these protests are concerned. So I appreciate you guys are having me.
Thank you, man. Take care, brother.
Yep.
So up next, everybody, this is our last photographer for the night. We're gonna zoom in on his wall. So, good brother, knowing each other for some years through the music industry, and I was happy to see his work from the protests. Brother Ishmael, good to see you, good brother. Glad that you could be a part of this.
Is it clear?
Totally. Yep, we could hear you, could see you. Thank you for being a part of the Art of Protest show, man. I've been following your work, see you everywhere. You have a campaign called Stages, and actually, to me, this is another stage.
Yeah.
It's another stage of another realm of culture, and what this is totally and I never knew that you shot other things besides the industry. That was a lot
Yeah.
of the work that I seen. So what prompted you to go shoot protesting? What was that light bulb that clicked and said, you know what, I want to I want to go document this.
The thing is, I actually shoot a lot more than the industry. I just post the industry more than anything.
Okay.
Like regularly, I shoot a lot more than industry. But for the protest, honestly, it's history. It's telling photographers' job is to be photojournalists and to really like tell the story of the time and of the people and what's going on. And because of certain situations, I wasn't going out, and then it was like, now I have to tell it, but tell it from the perspective of the people. I didn't want to shoot the police. I didn't. I got some of those shots, but my goal was to shoot people. I wanted to tell the story of Black people and how we're interacting and how we're behaving and how we are within the protests and within these times after George Floyd's death and murder.
Okay, so let's zoom in on the bridge shot, and I think we was talking about this earlier, or earlier in the week, about the bridge shot and how it reminded me of Selma. What did you see? I mean, to me, it's so amazing. It seemed like you were standing right on the white line, just like you had
Yeah.
it centered up. Like, what was the process? Did you knew that when they was walking? Did you say, I want to catch this shot? What was the thought process of
For
catching
me,
this
this
shot?
was the process was so the mark. This is on the Brooklyn Bridge, and I saw them in the crowd because there were like 3 levels of banners. Can y'all hear me?
You okay? It's a
I don't
little
know. It
loud
seems
in the
like I'm
back,
frozen.
little loud in the background, but we can hear you.
Am I frozen?
We can keep going. We hear
Okay.
you though.
Okay. Cool. So this was the Brooklyn Bridge, and it was thousands of people on that bridge, and I kept seeing like this Black Lives Matter banner, and so I walked past it because I couldn't get in front of it. So as we're on the bridge, I'm walking, and I'm like, "Oh, here's the shot." So I run in front of them, and like miraculously, like the people behind me start to walk, and it just parts, and I get this clean shot of this. And the thing is, there was a lot of white people in these protests, and I really wanted to capture Black people protesting and their expression. And of course, the allies they're very important, but I didn't want to drown out the voices of the people that are suffering the most or suffering. Period. And I wanted to focus on this. So this shot took about an hour to get because I kept missing it. I couldn't get exactly what I wanted. And then as I looked, the bridge was behind that iconic New York, the bridge where it heightens there. Like just the framing was perfect. And I was like, and this was on a prime lens. So
Wow.
just everything worked out well to get that shot.
Okay, and to everybody out there, this is the print that Ishmael has for sale tonight. Let's pull back out to the wall though, and let's go through a couple more images. That might be your favorite, but if you had to take that out, what would be your next favorite photo from your collection, and what was the thoughts of you when you were shooting that photo?
So I have two.
Okay.
One is the top left and the top right. The top left one is more. I was trying to focus on shooting women a lot more because again their voices they're drowned out in a lot of ways. And so this was at a on Friday. I'm Muslim, so there was we did a prayer, Juma prayer at Barclays,
Mhm.
and a bunch of Muslim sisters came out and they were expressing themselves in different ways. And I looked over and she had that says "There's no God but God" on her mask in Arabic. So I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, so the focus is her mask, not really the Black Lives Matter
Wow.
banner. That's because you can't really see the Black lives at the top.
Yep.
But that wasn't my focus. That's why I also named it "No God But God" because I'm focused on her mask, which is in Arabic. So that's why, like for me, her expression of silence, but being there was just that, and that wearing that mask, wearing all black, and standing under the banner of Black Lives Matter, that just spoke to me in ways that very few people may understand, but those who understand, I think it really speaks volumes. So this is one of my favorites.
And then let's
And
talk
the
about the
other
other
is
one.
Toy. And again, this is, again, the voices of Black women, like someone who fought for black men, who was a protester, activist, and to be murdered and raped and just be treated like, just disgustingly. Like it really. So I was walking. This was in Washington Square Park, and I was walking and walking. So what they would do is the bike riders, they would block off the side streets so that the protesters can keep going, so cars can't pass through. So all the bikers would stop. So I kept seeing this sign, and then finally, when we got to Washington Square Park, it was right in front of me. I was like, this is it. Like, just saying her name. I don't think we say her name enough. The fact that she was her situation. If you should read up on it, those who haven't, like it's unfortunate that happened to someone who fights for us and who's down for us. So I really wanted to. And this sister was riding this bike. She rode it from Brooklyn all the way over the bridge. She kept so just having that one sign. She wasn't putting anything else up. So just as best as I can to just have some memory of her is important. So this photo is very meaningful.
No, this is great. Um, last question for the night is, if you could just tell us how important documenting these times are for to young photographers, anybody with a camera, just helping, proving all the social injustice and what's happening with police brutality. How important do you think capturing the moment and catching what's going on in the time right now is?
I mean, it's extremely important. Like, one thing that I tell anyone that DMs me or reaches out to me is that shoot every day, take photos every day, tell a story every day, get better, get better. And there's no better time than now. Everybody's expressing themselves in some kind of way, be it whoever, Black Lives Matter, those who are anti. There's so many stories to tell, and we look back at these iconic photos from 70s, 60s, 40s, whenever, and it's like we look at them and we're like in awe. And this is our time to create that. This is our time to step up to the plate. And I heard someone say, I don't want my grandkids or my kids to ask me what I did or what didn't I do during these times. Like, I did a whole COVID shoot before, the Black Lives Matter stuff started kicking back up. And I'm sitting on that because this is 30, 40 years from now. This is going to be like, you were there at that time. And how did that feel? And I have photos to really tell people. Yep. This is how it felt. There was thousands of us on the bridge. I was 34 years old. We were in front of Barclays praying. Police were surrounding us. Like, these are moments that last forever. And I know that it's important for young photographers to just go out there. Even if you go and take one photo, think about that photo. Think about what story you want to tell. Take that photo, take your time with it, and continue to move forward.
Thank you, Ish, for your time, man. Thank you, Ishmael.
Thank you.
For every,
I appreciate you.
Totally, man. Be safe out there. And God bless, man. And I'll definitely talk to you soon, and we'll be in touch, man.
For sure. Before I leave, I just want to say thank you because I haven't posted any protest photos. So for you to DM me and ask if I had any and reach out and see what I had, I appreciate that because I wasn't really showcasing any of my protest photography. So thank you.
Nah, thank you for that again, man. That means so much to me. And be safe out there for both as a Black man and in the world of COVID.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, man.
Yes, sir.
Take care.
All right, you too.
Everybody, thank you for tonight. It's been amazing. We definitely had a little bit of technical difficulty, but we worked through it. I'd like to thank all our photographers that came through. Thank the Kedron for coming through and singing, talking about his perspective as a young Black man, just seeing all this. It was beautiful to be able to put this together to show what's going on up close and personal, not from hearing about it. I didn't get a chance to see what was going on the ground in LA, and to be able to see Young Guru's photos and Saul's photos and Lenny S photos in New Jersey and the rest of everybody, Ishmael and D in Brooklyn, just being able to see that, and that's our proof. And photography and video is the proof of the struggle and of racism and social justice. I'd like to also just thank all our partners once again, which is Dash for bringing the Compound Gallery to life. Jägermeister with the Save the Night initiative, giving artists like all the photographers outlet in these tough times. Moab for anybody that purchased the print. Moab is the company that is actually working on all the printing that they will be receiving in the mail. And then Black Artist Fund. Make sure you donate, and you can tab us on our website, that will go to help the Black Artist Fund. Please make sure y'all hit that donate whatever you can. Artists is definitely a part of the struggle, and we want to make sure that they can continue doing the art because art is going to be around forever. Thanks Jadakiss and everybody that was a part of it, the Compound team, and our merch is also, check out the merch shop. This is the gallery show, the Art of Protest will still be up. You can go check it out. The merch will be available, prints will be available, and we just thank everybody for being a part of the Art of Protest show. This is our first of many gallery shows, and thank y'all for coming out. Thank y'all for working through the technical difficulties with us, and God bless and good night.